Happy Sunday, Tampa. We're with you for another week to talk about the local real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Show, joined by Richard Vazquez with Artisan Insurance and Mike Yates from Atlantic Bay Mortgage. And, we're here with you every week talking about the real estate market, keeping you updated on what's going on. Check out our social channels whenever we aren't on air at The Duncan Duo on Twitter and Instagram, and we're at The Duncan Duo Show on Facebook and The Duncan Duo on YouTube. I want to... the Sarasota and Manatee real estate statistics came out this week, but we're gonna wait to talk about those next week. We're gonna be joined by Michael Barbino from our real estate team down in Sarasota. But I wanted to kind of start out of the gate today, Richard, talking about flood insurance. I saw a couple articles this week, and I've seen some stuff in the press recently that it's always a ongoing conversation. Flood insurance is always an issue here. And it sounds though, one of the things I think that was crucial the last time you were on, that we're starting to see is more flood insurance carriers really evaluating the whole body of work for liability on a home versus just looking at the elevation.
Right.
For the longest time, FEMA has said what the elevation is in that area is what we're going to determine. Even if that area has been 100 years and never flooded, we're going to charge it based on the elevation.
Right, exactly. The one thing you need to remember about insurance is that the only way to get prices down in insurance is competition.
Right.
The more companies we have...
And of course no claims. But
True, yeah.
That's never going to happen. There's always going to be claims.
Yeah. But the more companies we have that are going head-to-head against each other, they're willing to, lower their rates a little bit, just so that way they can get the amount of policies that they think they need in order to stay profitable. So the more companies that we have looking at Florida with regards to flood insurance, it's the same thing. They're going to find ways to work around the old system that's been in place forever. And that's what they're starting to do. They're starting to look at areas and histories of areas. And even though, the elevation certificate says that if the 1,000-year storm comes through, that this house is going to be 5 feet underwater, well, you know what? There's a history on this house, a recorded history on this house for maybe the past 30 or 40 years, and this house has never been underwater. Right. So why do we need to charge an astronomical rate on this house when it's never been underwater, even though the flood maps might say that the 1,000-year storm will make that happen? Honestly, the 1,000-year storm will probably put most of Florida underwater.
Pretty much.
So we're due for that, right?
I hope not. So what's funny about the when I look at the flood insurance, like if you had a house that was below the base flood elevation, but you had this humongous retention pond ditch dug in your front yard with a pumping system and all this stuff, it would still be based on the elevation with a lot of insurance carriers. I mean, you could build a system or construct a house that's more or less flood proof, and it wouldn't matter, which is the craziest thing and most illogical thing ever. It would be like, and I've used this comparison before when you talk about like auto insurance, and if you've determined if a car has been built to never get stolen, right? Like they have made it to where it's bulletproof, it can't be stolen, and it in crash tests it's the most amazing thing ever. But then all the auto insurance companies said, you know what, we're just going to charge the same for every car. Even that car that can't get stolen, you're going to pay the same as the other. It's really subsidized anyway.
Right, exactly.
But it's just government control, and let the market determine it. Let some people that actually have some brains and can do some math and run some figures, instead of just saying, oh, it's this height, it's this much, and it's the dumbest thing ever. And I can't wait for that system to just be completely gone forever, and never, ever, ever come back again. Because it just makes zero logical sense to me how they determine flood insurance costs. I mean, I get that the elevation should have something to do with it, but there are so many other factors. It could, like an example is you could have a house that's, below the base flood elevation, but everything below it is way lower than the base flood elevation, and it's elevated some. It's probably safer, it's probably safer than the other homes.
We've had a client that we've insured for many years, beautiful, gorgeous house right near Clearwater Beach, probably one of the most beautiful houses that we insure, it's the typical beach type of house that you see. It's elevated. The first floor at the ground level is just a garage. That's all it is. You walk up the stairs to get to the front door. You know, it's the typical house that you see. It's typical design of house that you see out there. But this one is much larger, much more beautiful. Just an absolute gorgeous house. This client was paying somewhere in the neighborhood of about $12,000 a year.
Wow.
Just for flood insurance. Why? Because at the time when he became a customer of ours, we only had one system. It was the National Flood Service. It was, this is the price. You want to live in this house, this is what you have to pay. Take it or leave it. If you don't want to pay this price, don't live in this house.
Right.
And that was the attitude for many, many, many years. And over the last couple of years, we've been able to drastically bring that price down through the use of these private market companies that have looked at it and go, you know what, this is an elevated house. If it floods, sure, he's near Clearwater Beach, but if it floods, you know, what's it going to hurt?
If it floods over 12 feet, we're all really in trouble.
Exactly.
All the insurance companies are filing bankruptcy. And,
but I mean, it's a garage, okay, you know, and it's built to, it's overbuilt, you know, way beyond the codes. It's got breakaway walls, so that way if a major, you know, storm surge comes through, the walls are designed to actually break away and allow water to flow through, and then guess what? You can put them back. You know, obviously there's going to be some cost involved, but the house is not going to be destroyed if a 6-foot storm surge comes through Clearwater Beach. And you know, he loved the area so much that he really wanted to live there. Luckily for him,
now he's saving some money.
He was you know, well off enough that he could do that. But now we're able to save him some money. We cut it by more than a third. By more than 2/3.
So he's paying around a third.
He's paying around a third of what he was paying before.
So $4,000 a year versus $12,000 a year. So yeah, if you're out there, Richard, what's the best website for people for, you know, if you're out there and you're in that situation where you want a second set of eyes on your flood insurance?
You can go to our website at lowerinsurancerate.com, and we've got a contact spot on there where you can send us some information. We're happy to look at your flood insurance, see if we can bring it down, and hopefully save you a boatload of money.
Awesome.